Hey everyone, this is Lucy and today I'll be talking about how I passed the AWS Certified Solutions Architect Professional Exam in 2022. If you're new to this channel, my name is Lucy and I make videos all about tech, career and life at AWS. So if you're interested in seeing more videos like this, please make sure you click on subscribe down below and give this video a like. So I passed this exam a couple of days ago and I was pretty happy about it because this has been on my to-do list for the longest time now, and it's more of a long-term sort of goal because you really need a couple of months to prepare for it. So I wanted to share how I was able to pass this exam by sharing my resources, advice, and also my exam strategies and experience as well. Let's just jump right into it. So this exam is 3 hours long with 75 multiple choice / multi-select questions, and it was a pretty intense exam. Really glad I was able to dedicate a couple months leading up to the exam to really spend some time doing some direct preparation. So speaking of direct preparation, what I used was two main resources. First of all, I used video courses. Then I used practice exams, and I went through this whole cycle of doing video courses, then doing some practice exams to check up on my knowledge and what gaps I needed to fill, then going back to those video courses, rewatching some of the videos and kind of continuing on the cycle. So for the video courses, there are two that I would like to recommend. So the first resource is Adrian Cantrell's Solutions Architect Professional Certification video course. So this video course has a bunch of theory videos and also hands-on labs. And it really goes above and beyond in terms of the level of detail that it provides. It teaches you not only to pass the exam, but also teaches you the skills and the knowledge to become a good SA. So this course was pretty interesting. I didn't end up doing the whole course because it was very, very long. And I wanted to focus more time on practice questions instead. But I managed to get through a good chunk of this course, did a lot of hands-on lab exercises, and found it really helpful in making me feel confident in learning some of the architectural patterns that might come up for the exam. I switched over to another video course, which is Neil Davis's Digital Cloud Training course for the Solutions Architect Professional exam. So this course was a lot more concise. It taught me exactly what was needed for the exam, and it also had a really good amount of hands-on exercises as well, so that I could follow along and gain a deeper knowledge about each of the services and each of the different sort of patterns that I'll see, whether that be traditional 3-tier architectures or serverless web applications. So in terms of practice exams, there's a whole bunch available for free that you can find. But what I really liked about using paid resources is that they have more detailed explanations. So when you get a question wrong, it really just tells you why you got it wrong and why the correct answer is the correct one. So that's something I really appreciated, and the practice question set that I really liked and I used was Tutorial Dojo's practice exams, because they had really in-depth explanations when it came to those questions, and by doing a bunch of those I was able to get more familiar with the format of the questions. And after doing that, I was getting some friends recommending me another set of practice exams, so I bought those as well and did those. Those were Neil Davis's Digital Cloud Training practice exams, and what I found good about these were that it actually reflected some of the real exam questions. So when it came to me doing the real exam, a lot of the questions seemed kind of, I kind of felt like I've done it before, because they were, I think, quite similar to some of the questions that Neil has put in his practice exams. So doing both of those set of exams from both Tutorials Dojo and Digital Cloud Training really set me up well when it came to sitting my real exam. Now let's talk about my advice for actually preparing for the exam. The resources are really good, but when it comes down to actually dedicating time, the thing that's most important is building consistency and momentum when it comes to your study. It's really hard when we're working full-time or we have other commitments to really dedicate time consistently to our AWS journey, and it can be quite tempting to just say, okay, on the weekends I'm just going to block out 10 hours and just going to study non-stop. But what works best for me and what I recommend doing is to dedicate 1 to 2 hours on a weekday actually preparing for it, and if you have time on the weekend you can do a couple of hours of study then, and if not, you can just take the weekend off because you've done some work already on the weekdays. So that's something I'll recommend, trying to build up consistency. My second piece of advice is that practical experience is always more important than theoretical knowledge. So make sure that you do all the hands-on exercises provided by the video courses rather than writing notes all the time, trying to memorize every single line and every single feature of AWS services. It's so much more important for you to recognize patterns in architectures, and that way it's better for long-term retention as well, and it's better for you when you actually want to become a solutions architect in the future. And honestly, I think my day-to-day work really helped me with the solutions architect professional exam, because I was, for example, building a demo of a 3-tier web application, and through that I gained so much knowledge about how 3-tier web apps work. And when it came to preparing for the exam, I found it so much more easier to just understand the question and what it was really asking, as opposed to trying to remember what I had memorized from months ago. Okay, finally, let's talk about exam strategy on the day. What can you do during those 3 hours to maximize your chances of passing the exam? So first of all, I recommend something called reverse flagging. So you know when you have a question that you're not sure about, you're flagging it. That way, I think, doesn't really work for me. What I did was I flagged the ones I was sure I got the answer to. So if I'm certain that the answer is correct, or I'm 90% sure the answer is correct, I'll flag it. And that way I feel like every time I flag a question, it builds up my confidence, rather than every time I flag it, I'm unsure, and it just shows myself that, oh, I need to check back on it later. So by the end of the exam, I would have flagged, let's say, 80% of the questions, and I will look back at the unflagged ones to go back and review the answer and try and read over the question again. Something else that I found to be quite useful was to close my eyes for 10 to 20 seconds every 10 to 20 minutes. It sounds like it's a waste of time because you only have 3 hours for 75 questions, but it really helps for you to sort of regain focus and just prevent eye strain during the exam as well, because 3 hours looking at a screen, it's pretty tough. So that's something I would recommend. And finally, make sure you don't study on the day of the exam. There's already so much that you've gained in the months or weeks leading up to the exam. I think on the day, if you try and cram more information in, it might just overwhelm you when it comes to the actual exam. And you want to be as relaxed as possible before the exam actually starts. Alright, so this brings us to the end of this video. If you found it useful, please give this video a like. Leave your comments and questions down below, and I'll see you next time. Best of luck for your exam, and bye for now.